Unless you've been living under a rock, you heard of FTX and how they scammed the world. Everyone is curious about how this happened and how a giant like FTX, with an exchange worth billions, just vanished and filed for bankruptcy and became one of the biggest scandals we've heard in a very long time. But I'm a business consultant, so when I heard the story, I was very shocked, obviously, but also interested to know how, in God's name, did they do that? How did they get to raise this money? Because FTX raised over $1.8 billion from investors. And for them to do that, investors must have been convinced somehow that they have a good product. And then I thought, for them to raise this $1.8 billion of investment, they must have sent investors a pitch deck to convince them with this investment. And this sort of magic spell, what sort of pitch deck was there that would convince these investors to invest in such a company? Now, you need to understand that FTX as a product is not flawed, but the management was the problem. Nonetheless, it was very interesting for me to actually look and analyze the FTX pitch deck, and that's what we're doing. Hi, I'm Elanani, an entrepreneurship consultant in Switzerland, and what I do is I help businesses raise investments through creating strategies and help them with their pitch decks, with their financial models, and so on. So to me, this was quite a business case that is interesting. How could a company like FTX raise this amount of money and then get into so much trouble? And for that, I'm analyzing the pitch deck, so let's get to it. Well, before I start, I found this from a tweet by Sergey Balyan, and I thank him very much for sharing the pitch deck. So they start off with a cover page, which I think is how I usually start my pitch decks. Cover pages are usually easy to look at the logo to get a sense of what this is about. But instead of putting a one-line pitch deck, they chose to put strictly private and confidential, which is not a problem. So there's not a lot to comment on this slide. Let's move to the next one. So the next slide is the overview. They're showcasing that they have been there for a while to not make the investors think that, oh, they're not up for it, or they're just a new crypto company like all those crypto companies. They want to eradicate this idea from the investor or from the reader's mind. And that's why they put a timeline at the beginning showing how they have started with founders coming from Google so that it will be established and credible. And it's been going on for a while. So just so that if you're thinking as an investor, as a reader, oh, FTX is just a new company working in crypto, absolutely not. They want to erase this from your mind. So they've been going on ever since 2017, which is okay. And they said here a sentence that is very interesting. They said, we are the largest non-Chinese crypto exchange. Of course, referring to Binance being the Chinese crypto exchange that is large, because it is the largest at the moment. And it was also the largest then. So they're establishing themselves for people in the US who don't want to invest in companies led by Chinese management like Binance. And that's the core target segment of this document. So if you're a person who is an American or who doesn't want to invest in a Chinese-led company, this is where you should go. This is what they're trying to brand. Fourth largest crypto exchange, fastest growing crypto, all good. So it's quite a good deck to start because it just establishes that, we're not here for playing games and we've been here for a while and we mean real business and we're big, So that's the overview. So the next slide is what I would call a market opportunity, but with no statistics. What it is they're linking themselves as an exchange to the future of the crypto market. So if the crypto market goes down or Bitcoin goes down, that's the only way crypto exchanges would go under. And for that, they're saying it's almost impossible because anyone who looks at this deck already believes in crypto. So you're not going to go like, oh, I don't believe in crypto and the exchanges are not good and they're going to go under or anything like that. So no, you already believe in crypto if you're reading this. And for that, they're linking their future with the future of Bitcoin or with the future of crypto. So as long as there's crypto, there's FTX, which is absolutely not the case. This is quite ironic what happened because this is the fault in their slides, of course, that apparently history or the future told us what was going to happen. Let's see. So they're just explaining more that crypto exchanges are a very important essence of the crypto community. Again, it's quite straightforward and just convincing people that that crypto exchanges are here for the long term. They didn't start talking about FTX, but they want to tell you that if you're thinking as a business model that crypto exchanges might not be up for a long term, you're wrong. Then they started putting the traction. I love when people put the traction because that shows they're confident about what they're doing. And their numbers are quite astonishing. What I don't know is whether investors did good due diligence to actually confirm on these numbers. I would assume they did. And I'm not really sure if FTX had those numbers, but if they did, then this is a good deck until this moment, because having 150 million average daily volume, and 7 times in daily active users, that's quite good compared to 2019. It's a good, they're all very good for a crypto exchange. So looking at these numbers, they're just establishing that we are growing and you can grow with us as an investor. The fourth slide is statistics in 2021, which is further tractions. They're just showcasing and flexing their muscles about what they did in 2021, which is this year, or the year they were trying to raise fund, which is last year. And for that, their numbers are also in billions and millions. So just put the letter B and the letter M and showcase that you're up for a big game, which is, again, the norm when it comes to such an industry. Plus, they were pitching in the big leagues, comparing themselves to Binance and Coinbase and all these, actually not even comparing themselves to Coinbase, they're comparing themselves to Binance and establishing that they are good as Binance, and that in that case, they have to put these numbers. Again, I'm not sure if these numbers have been audited or anything. They say here, a small note, the numbers are approximate based on recent performance. They don't incorporate any additional growth. So they could be projections. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter because 2021 was not a very good year for crypto, so I assume these numbers were not correct. Then there's the competition slide. This is quite an interesting slide for me because they are just saying one sentence. We are better than Binance. That's what they're saying. They're putting Coinbase in a very low level of competition compared to them, and Kraken and all the other firms are just at the bottom, and they're just saying, you know what, we are better in these variables than Binance. Binance is close, but they're not as good as us. Or they were as good as us sometime, but now we're definitely higher. And that's how people generally do the pitch decks. They showcase their strength. They don't showcase that Binance is better than them. They have to say that we're better, and that's why you're investing in us. And for that, they just put a very small factor of growth in terms of difference. So Binance is 72.5x and FTX 75x. As you can see, the numbers are not that different. But again, it's just showcasing that, you know what, we are competing with Binance, and Binance is performing okay, but it's not as good at this. Slide number 6. This slide number 6 showcases the products. It's a very boring slide, to be honest. It just shows what the exchange is offering, because some exchanges doesn't offer some things while others do. For example, Coinbase at the beginning didn't have futures. I'm not sure if they do right now, or future trading. So here they would show everything that they're doing and any future plans that they have at the moment. Very traditional, just, mentioning what we do. Slide number 7 is what I like to call the go-to-market strategy. They're just it's the closest thing. It's not really a go-to-market strategy, but it's the closest thing in this deck. It's showcasing that they have an app called Blockfolio. They acquired this company, if I remember correctly, and they're showing their future plans, which is expanding into new lines and products. And they're just, this is sort of a brain tease, because if the founder, Sam, or any other one is just speaking to an investor, they would go like, look, this is what we have in mind. And then the investor would debate and would go like, no, how about you work with NFTs? And then Sam or the founder would say, oh, we also thought of that, but this is our plan. So it's just like I think it's here designed so that it would open the discussion of what's the future of FTX looking like. My favorite slide is slide number 8, which is a legal slide. It shows that they're working with regulators on compliant matter, and they do the KYC and everything. And this is just, now that I look at it, it's a little bit funny because of what happened, because it's a legal thing. What happened, absolutely legal. And looking at this slide just showcases that this is absolutely not true. But they put it just so that they would kill the idea that, you know what, we're not regulated because we're a crypto company. We don't have an IPO, or we're not a public company like Coinbase. But we do have some compliance regulations, or we do follow certain rules, and these are some ideas, or like that we take responsibility for doing these things. Obviously, after that, you have to showcase the company and who is working in the company. They want to showcase faces again, because crypto is a very big pump and dump environment. Like, pumps and dumps are very common in crypto, so you want to make sure that the founder or the investor would look at this deck and would say, okay, they're real and they're not scamming me, or they're not just amateurs. So they would want to see a face. And that's why they put 5 faces and the name of Google and the name of Facebook in the team members. Again, this is such a typical slide. You always put your team members and mention their experience, especially if they've worked in Google, Facebook, Microsoft, whatever it is. So quite a traditional slide. Finally, the last slide, I like it because it's a good take-home message. It's, you know what? If you think crypto exchanges are evil, because a lot of people lose money trading futures, and some consider it evil and not moral. And for that, you know what? We're donating 1% of our money to charities, the world's most effective charities, and so on. And that's your take-home message. So if you're an investor and you just finished this pitch and you go like, oh, but crypto exchanges are such evil companies, but this company specifically donates 1% of the revenue. Yeah, I mean, it makes it better somehow, and that's what they're trying to send as a take-home message. So this was the deck of FTX. Now, I always read news, and you probably read it as well. And I read that this whole FTX could have been a scandal or a scheme that's been in the works for years. And then I watched Kevin O'Leary just defend the founder, and it's quite a dramatic scene that's going on. Nevertheless, I'm not looking at any of those pieces of news, and I'm just talking as a business consultant. As a business consultant, the deck says we mean business. And if you don't do good due diligence, then this is what surprised me. If they do look at the due diligence of this company and actually verify the numbers, then FTX was such quite a good company. So it's quite surprising to see how it led to where it is right now. But if you didn't do due diligence, and it's also a sensitive matter when it comes to crypto regulations, then it is quite understandable how they ended up to be. But again, this was all a mistake of management as far as I know, or as far as I hear. And it's one of the most interesting cases. I'm sure there is going to be a book about this or a big article about this from a journalist, and we would read all about the story. But at the moment, this was a pitch deck, quite an interesting pitch deck. I like it, but I would verify it if I'm an investor reading it. And that's everything around that. Now, here's my question to you. What do you think of the deck? Do you think it's good? Do you think it was a fake it till you make it that went wrong? Or do you think that this is all a scheme, a criminal scheme? What are your thoughts? I'd like to engage with it, people, and see what they think. So these are my thoughts about the deck. The deck is okay, but it should be verified. What are your thoughts? Please share with me in the comments. And don't forget, if you like this video, don't forget to like and to subscribe so that I will keep doing videos like that. Until then, I wish you a great day.